Hey everybody, it's Friday, time for the diary. Today is September 12th. I didn't even know the date. I never know the date. I rarely know the day. Time is a very weird, strange, crazy thing for me. So if I ever tell you the wrong date, it's not on purpose. I just have trouble keeping up with it. But anyway, hello everyone. Today is September 12th. I just checked it. September 12th, 2025. What a week this has been. I have no idea what I'm going to say. This is the impromptu diary that I've decided I'll do every week till the end of the year, which is quite a challenge for me for a lot of reasons. For one thing, for a long time, I didn't want to be in the public at all, which might sound crazy to some of you, but I had some crazy experiences with being in the public eye or being around people who were, and then other people sort of, yeah, I don't want to get into all that. But in any case, it's a bit strange that I've decided to do this no matter where I am every Friday for the rest of the year. And I think it's just that practice of actually putting myself in the same place every day, each week, and kind of fulfilling that promise. I hope I can follow through on it. I can't say why it's important, but it feels like it is. I want to say thank you to everyone who's written emails or wherever you might have contacted me or through the admin or whatever you've done. I really appreciate everything you've expressed. And there were a couple of questions. Let's see if I can remember. Do I do drugs? No, I don't do drugs. I think I've said that before on here. I know I can seem a little, what's the word, ecstatic, and I am naturally, but no, I do not do drugs. I don't need them, frankly. And I've always thought we can get to the place we want to get when we take drugs naturally. And the more we reach that place, the more it becomes something like the accessible everyday place for us. I know that's not possible for everyone. We're all different. But I try to do that through walking, through everything I read. I mean, I think that helps me that I'm really turned on by just reading books and sharing ideas. So, and also that's part of my work. I get to do that. And so, no, I don't do drugs to answer the question. But, a couple people wrote to ask if I would interview Thomas Metzinger. And I'm happy to tell you that, yes, I will. And I think I'm going to do it for the end of the year special kind of, last year we did it with Carl. And this year, hopefully, it'll work out for that end of the year talk. So if you have any questions or ideas you want discussed specifically relative to the work of Thomas Metzinger, just let me know sometime between now and the end of the year. Actually, probably sooner because who knows when we'll do the interview. But actually, I've followed his work for a long time, and I even participated in some of those meditation studies, which is another way to stay high naturally. Although I think walking for me is meditation. When I walk, it's really like meditation. Sometimes I listen to podcasts, and that's really wonderful. I love that, going into those spaces. But sometimes I just try to really look at the sky. I'm in the States sometimes, I'm in the Netherlands sometimes, but in the Netherlands, the light is just incredible. And in New York, too, actually, the light around this time of the year and coming up soon, it's just so incredible. And sometimes I try to just focus on that, and you would be amazed the way the landscape changes. Because this week has been quite challenging for many of us for different reasons, because that's what life is, but this world seems to be going through a lot right now. And I know all of you are all over the world. I'm always amazed how people from so many different parts of the world listen to the audio podcast, and I guess watch these too. I have really no idea. But we've all been through a lot, no matter where we are. And I guess what is coming to mind for me relative to that right now is these two words, constellatory cognition. Now, I know some of you will be annoyed that I'm using these big words, but they're not actually big words. I'm sort of making it up. I think those are actually words, constellatory. Cognition is definitely a word. But what do I mean by constellatory cognition? Well, what I mean is that when things happen in our lives, we experience them from a very particular point of view, because since the moment we were born until now, we've been in a unique spatiotemporal, which just means space-time, position. So you are very unique. No one has ever seen the world the way you have, and that means you have something to share. It also means that everyone around you is experiencing the same shared situation, which it is shared. Life is real. It's not a hallucination. That might have to be a topic for a whole other time, but we do share. We are part of the same fabric and world, and it's a fabric we're constantly weaving together, but it is shared. We're part of each other. But within that, we have a sensory experience of the world. This feeling that you have, like that you're kind of, you might think you're in your head, but you can learn to imagine that you're in your body because you are. Your mind is actually your whole body. And the more you feel your body and feel the life in it, think of your legs and your body, and you can feel them, that they're there. That's you. That's your thinking. That's your cognition. That's what you are. But the point of this, the constellatory part, is because we're all connected, no matter where we are, some of us more connected than others because of where we are in space and time. When something happens, when there's a situation that we share, whether it's that we're in the same room or whether it's through the news, that we're all, maybe getting news about something that's happened that's going to affect all of us, or the economics, or whatever it might be, each one of us sees that differently. There's so much overlap because we do share space. So there's a lot of shared stuff there. But also, every single one of us is a different part of the larger cognition. If you could think of like the cognition that is creating something like, take your pick of whatever system happens to be near you right now, or whatever media. That's not any one person. That's a constellation of a whole lot of different perspectives. And we're all taking part of it, and we're all seeing it differently, and we're all feeling it differently, depending on where we've come from, depending on the very moment we were born until now. That's like a path that's unbroken. And every single person that we've met, and every single book we've read, and every single conversation we've had, every single walk we've taken, even if we don't remember it all, it's been sort of forming our path. We lay down the path as we're walking it, and it lays down us. We are that path. So anytime anything happens, we're coming from that, and we're experiencing that happening as that whole path, and it's unique. So it means we all have very, very different ways of experiencing, and we all share something in the experiencing. And some of us, because our paths have been so different and because we've learned such different things, we are experiencing the same thing in very different ways. And we can end up feeling like we have to prove our way is the right way, or that we have to be afraid of someone who's telling us that they see the situation differently, or that we just get angry because it's hard actually to have different paths and to try to feel that your path is being seen. So constellatory cognition is really what's happening all the time. It's all of us making the world together. And something I've noticed is that I move around a lot. That's one thing these diaries show me, is I'm a very kinetic person. I need to move a lot. Maybe I have some kind of, yeah, anyway, that's not about me. Okay, so the constellatory cognition. So I guess what's on my mind is that I want to say is that if we can be aware of this, that this is what's happening, that there's a whole constellation of possible perception of any situation, then maybe we can kind of hang in that moment and understand we're one part of something like a solar system, a constellation, a constellatory cognition. Constellatory is from constellation, like the planets. So when something happens, maybe we can hang in the moment of it rather than sort of reacting from our path. Recognize our path, notice the way it makes us feel, our whole body cognition, which is also our emotion, by the way. Emotion is cognitive. So everything you're feeling is very important. And maybe we can feel that. And also, as we're feeling that, as we're respecting that, as we're taking that seriously, because that is, as I said, the unique thing that you have, at the same time that you hold that, maybe try to think of it as like holding it in one hand. In the other hand, think about holding all that other constellation of cognition, that all those other people who might be in the same room with you, or who might be on that same social media app as you, or who might be watching the news, or who might be voting, or whatever it is. I mean, um, or just, taking the same test as you at university, or your colleagues as you're teaching, whatever world you're in. That's a constellation of cognitions that's being co-created with your own. Does that make any sense at all? It sounds like it doesn't as I'm saying it, but I would love to try to make it make more sense. Sometimes I also call it kaleidoscopic thinking or kaleidoscopic cognition. If you ever seen a kaleidoscope, you look through these things and you can shift the lenses, and everything looks completely different every time you shift it. And that's kind of what's going on. Just imagine we could shift into each other's perspectives. Wouldn't that be amazing? There's this famous paper, What's It Like to Be a Bat by Thomas Nagel in philosophy, where there's a thought experiment of could we ever know what it's like to be a bat? And I kind of think that our technologies are getting to a point where maybe we could actually experience that a bit. It doesn't mean we become a bat, that's different. But we could maybe get a lot closer to knowing what it's like to be a bat. But also maybe we could get a lot closer to knowing what it's like to be one another. Not to walk in our shoes, because because as I said, we're all unique, and that's important. And it takes the body to actually be that unique spatiotemporal place. However, we could at least try to get closer to understanding these other turns of the kaleidoscope. And it could be incredibly exciting, actually. As exciting as playing Pokemon, and as exciting as winning money on the stock market, and as exciting as all these other things that we do that sort of power society in a lot of ways. The Pokemon thing came up because someone just told me they use Pokemon as like an investment, Pokemon cards. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. This is what happens when I just sit down and talk. So it's a little embarrassing, I have to say, to do this, but I really want to do it, because you don't know who you are and what you think until you put yourself in a situation where you just are who you are. And that's what these are for me. I really don't plan them. Um, anyway, constellatory cognition, that seems to be the theme of this one. This morning I took my dog for a walk, and she loves to sit and watch. I got her in Mongolia, by the way, and she's done it ever since that I got her in Mongolia. She was given to me. It's a whole other story, but she likes to just sit and watch and listen. I used to call her the love Buddha. Somebody else called her the prancing Buddha. But anyway, you've seen her on this show. If you've watched a few times, she makes her appearance because she's often in my office. And she has cognition. And sometimes I, imagine what's it like to turn the kaleidoscope and be her, to be looking at the world through her eyes. And after we've now spent, gosh, how long has it been? 12 years together, because I was in the Peace Corps in Mongolia 12 years ago, and that's when I got her. Wow, that's a long time ago. But, after you spend that long with a life, you're synced. And it's not that I can become her, but I do have the feeling sometimes I can shift the kaleidoscope and have the feeling of what she's feeling to some extent. And I'm pretty sure she can do it with me too. So, constellatory cognition, I really love just thinking about that, what it would be like to be able to shift the kaleidoscope and understand what my family members are feeling, or what the person on the street is feeling, or that person that I think I don't like, or whatever, that seems to have the different opinions of me, or that makes me angry, or whatever. Although I don't get angry so often these days for some reason. I don't know. if I ever got that angry before, but I still can get angry. I think it's more that I feel sad sometimes, or that I feel like we're wasting our opportunity here. That's what it is. And that used to be something that made me angry, and now it makes me more motivated to just do whatever I can. Like even this, who knows? Like just do what I can. Whatever comes, try to listen to those little voices, those big voices, your voices. Just try to listen. And, Parker Palmer, I had this wonderful conversation with him, and it's going to post soon. And he made me think about love as listening, which is really powerful if you are doing all these podcasts, because, as you know, especially those of you who love Bernardo Castro, a lot of you want me to listen more and talk less. And because I'm doing these as research, actually, that's not fair. It's not that a lot of you have asked that. It was just in the Bernardo conversation, because I was so excited that not excited, but I really needed to talk about some things, and I didn't want to talk about things that he talks about on every other channel. So anyway, I'm getting sidetracked, but the point is Parker Palmer I was thinking, okay, love is listening, and it can also be listening to yourself, but something about listening, even to my dog, right? Like shifting that kaleidoscope of cognition is a kind of listening. It's a kind of being still and listening not only with the ears, but with the whole body, listening as you shift the kaleidoscope. So, yeah, I actually look forward to sharing that conversation with Parker soon. I've got probably 10 conversations of podcasts, because it was all done for me for research. And they're all kind of in line to come out, but that one will be coming soon. Also, Catherine Hales, where we talk about a lot of these things, because she's also talking about how we might reimagine what cognition is. I think the next one I will post is with Lucius Outlaw, because I had this conversation with him a long time ago, like a year ago, and I had it slated to come out on the 14th, and it now feels like it should come out then. It's all about Martin Luther King and love and his experience growing up in the United States as a Black man in the 60s. And anyway, there's a lot of good stuff coming, and there's a lot of good stuff all around us right now. And I really appreciate you that you come here and stay in the space and help me and teach me and show me what you feel and what you think and what your life is like, and that you try to find ways to connect with life, and that you find ways to be proud of who you are and respect yourself. And because that's also a way of understanding that you can respect others in this constellation, and that they can maybe shift the kaleidoscope and try to see life from your point of view. Yeah, I should probably go. Sorry if it's a little loud here, but that's my Friday talk. I don't even remember everything I said. That was just a kind of wild ride there. But what can I say before I leave? I hope that you are doing well wherever you are, and I really mean that. And it doesn't matter if I don't know exactly who you are, because this constellatory, kaleidoscopic, ecological cognition connects us. And I understand if you don't love every single thing I do on here, you don't have to. It's really just about can we try to sit with each other and with our different paths and learn from each other. And that's what I try to do with all the amazing people that I talk to. That's what I try to do when I write books, and that's what I'm trying to do here, I guess. And I'm open to learning from you about better ways to do it. So write to me or whatever you want. Find a way to communicate, the Substack or here or Anywhere you want. Oh, I remember what the other question was. No, I haven't, um, set up a Patreon. I don't know, I honestly, my life is so busy, and I need to figure out all those things with Patreon and all this stuff, SEO and blah, blah, blah. So if anyone has some kind of business advice, I mean, I'm good with business, but when it comes to this, I just feel like I wanna keep it as organic as possible, and I know people might think I'm trying to be some famous podcast star, but to be honest, I really do these conversations because of my inner motivation to understand these subjects and to connect this with love and care, this either-or mindset. I really want to see us shift into a constellatory cognition because it's beautiful and it's fun and there's love there, and love is not silly. Anyway, I'm going on and on, so now I'm just gonna stop, but I'll see you next Friday, and in the meantime, you'll probably get at least one podcast I think is posting